Nick, I think we're better than fantastic. Because of Black Friday and Cyber Monday and the whole Thanksgiving ordeal, you kind of forget that we did our 1 year episode. We got a lot of praise, a lot of thanks, a lot of claps, a lot of hope you guys keep doing this. So shout out to everybody that listened to the episode that we dropped early on Black Friday. Hopefully you made all the purchases you wanted. Hopefully you picked up a hoodie. I believe there's still some at hybridcleanstore.com. I
Yep.
don't know how many or what
Yeah,
sizes,
we're doing well, man. For our first little hoodie drop, we gotta say thanks to everybody.
yeah, shout out. I'm going to be in charge of the next drop of apparel. So, Nick, he already had his say. He got the one he wanted made. So, I'm going to get one made. And hopefully, you guys like zip ups. I'm just going to say that because I did get people, actually, some people that said, I'm not even a hoodie guy, but I want to support the show. Bravo to those people.
Yeah,
like
those
the people that just want to
those are the real heroes. Not all heroes wear capes.
That's right, but they will wear hoodies.
Absolutely.
All right, man, we got to start the show with the very obvious of what's going to be in the news this week, and that is the grand unveiling of the new modern LFA, which is one of your favorite cars, right? Top three, maybe?
Yeah, it's up there. Yeah, looks, sound. I mean, probably the best sound in history. I mean, some would argue.
Some would argue, actually, believe it or not.
Some would argue it's not that good. Okay. I mean, okay, guy.
Okay, guy. All right, Hardo. We haven't used that word in a while, but all right, Hardo.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to go ahead and play the video. Maybe you can gather some thoughts. Most people have already seen it by now. You know, all new sports models. It's a big unveiling.
And it's the same color as the background. Which
I know, right? Genius. Absolute genius.
Look, let's do our thing here. The only person clapping is the guy on stage, just so everybody knows.
Yeah, the chief branding officer.
Chief
I believe
branding
it is.
officer. Is his name Simon?
Yeah, Simon Humphreys.
Yeah. Well, Simon, this did not go well. As an unveiling, I mean, the car. We get into this real conversation of the car manufacturing industry. I think has a problem of realizing the world's changed.
Mm-hmm.
How many of you would have rather seen the unveiling on a track where it comes down the straightaway and you get to see it and then you get to see it drive and you get to look at the dynamics and you got a professional driver? Why are we doing the dog and pony show for everybody in the crowd that's already going to write a good piece about it because you sent them a Yeti cup? Like nobody in that crowd is going to write something bad about this car.
No.
Because they didn't write stuff bad about any car that they've ever gone to an unveiling of. Because, like we've said to you, those people in the crowd, quote-unquote journalists, get to go on these types of things and are expected to write pretty positive articles. By the way, this is not new. This is not 2025. This was the same in 1985 and 1995 and 2005. It's all good. The underwhelming reception of this, of the crowd, who, by the way, has been to 1,000 of these, so I don't blame them.
Yeah.
What are you doing why are we still doing this? Why are we still, by the way, could have done this at SEMA, by the way, because they're the biggest displayer at SEMA.
Would have been the smartest move, honestly.
Would have been the smartest move. Would have been a lot, well, the smartest move is what I would have said. Go actually do something with the car, okay? Yeah. The second smartest thing is take over SEMA, which you've already done.
Bins and Bow Ties' comment, nobody clapped, ? Was just such a slap in the face, like disruptive,
yes.
Obvious thing to say, which didn't get a lot of, it only got 50 likes and one reply to, which is crazy, which makes you think, like, how many people even saw this on the Motor Trend channel, which is another thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How many people actually saw it?
It's underwhelming. Are we glad it's being built? All of us as enthusiasts need to say we're glad it's being built. There is our obligatory.
Yeah.
We all want these cars to be built. You know, we're now into some electrification stuff that seems to have come out after this, and that they have an all-electric, some type of model that's going to be introduced and slid in here. I think it was a lot of mess in the unveiling of this. I just think it was so underwhelming. And I don't even think the car is necessarily always the reason. I think the way you do this stuff in 2025 builds up hype. You know, again, go back to the silly stuff at Pebble Beach when they have camouflage on it. They're trying to build. This was branded all wrong. Okay, because branding's not just the name of the car. It's not just a car. It's how do you build up? But let's all say this as Toyota fans, Toyota owners, Toyota whatever. They've never been great at this.
Yeah,
And they
true.
continue to be very underwhelming at it. I hope the car is great. We got to see it. I think they chose a very kind of odd color scheme with this. I think the design is okay. I don't think it's knocking your socks off. What else is there to say? I mean, it's what, 650 horsepower, which doesn't even get a comment in today's world. It's definitely not a V10 that you know the LFA was. So what are we all supposed to say except for just the generalities of I'm glad they're building the car?
So, you know what's funny? This kind of begs a whole new conversation. I want to stick, it's, you know, to piggyback off the LFA, but I'm starting to just kind of feel and wonder sometimes. Like it's interesting that we started this podcast a year ago and it gained all this traction. And these are conversations you and I would have anyway. Like we've said, right? We've been talking about this. We talk about it anyway. And now that people are tuning in and appreciating the you know, things that we say or the jokes or the insights or whatever tips maybe here and there, it does feel like the interest is waning, right? So my question to you is kind of like, is it for like, are the consumers' hand kind of forced to not being interested, or is it that they're not interested, which is why these things are so lackluster?
Well, just remember, hardly anybody can afford them.
That's very true, and that's at the very top of it, right? And not even talking about just LFA. We're just talking about cars in general, new cars. So is it that? And maybe help me deconstruct this. Is there a window right now that we're in this window of time where it's the automotive industry is being forced to go through this transition of where there's not a lot of excitement, not a lot of affordability, not a lot of innovation, because maybe within the next 5-10 years, we can get back to that by slowly simplifying some of the things, slowly making things a little bit more affordable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, these cars are never going to be affordable again. I mean, they don't seem. I guess we're seeing some post-launch love of Supra, because now the tuner market's kind of going into Supra and doing some cool things with it.
Yeah.
But those cars are few and far between. I mean, you and I can say this wholeheartedly. Like all of you guys can agree or disagree, but essentially, you really kind of have Miata left. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of comments of Ford guys talking about, another lackluster year under Mustang. And you go into comment section, it's like, I've owned Mustangs my whole life. It's just too expensive for me. Right. Yeah. So I'm not trying to always play the money game, but this stuff doesn't interest people because, again, I don't know how old Simon is. Okay. I can just see him on stage. We are at a crossroads of the people in charge of these brands are of a certain age. The media that needs to take place is being dominated by a younger crowd, i.e. social media, and the older crowd still wants to do things the old way, therefore not connecting to anybody under a certain age. Like this doesn't connect. I'm 43 years old, guys. This doesn't connect with me. So this isn't going to connect with a 35-year-old. It's not going to connect with a 25-year-old. Like this just isn't the world. This is the world you've created 40 years ago. This shouldn't have been the unveiling of this car. Period, point blank, end of story.
The question really isn't who does it appeal to, who does it interest to, who was it really for? Was it for shareholders? Was it to, like you've said before, like we're trying to keep our jobs here, so we're going to keep, slowly kind of inching out something that seems like, hey, we're making things happen, right?
Yeah, I think again, for Simon and his team, this is the way the team before them did it, so that's what they're going to do. They're not going to rock the boat. Everybody wants to get their salary. We're around Christmas time, Rob. You don't want to take a big risk. Got to get your Christmas bonus.
This
right?
is true.
I'm not blaming these people, but when you go to an event that you're talking about, this is the follow-up to the LFA, which is now a very valuable car. It was not received well in the moment. We must repeat that. Time and time again, LFA did not do well on launch, but now it's beloved after the fact, which we say all the time. Ford Lightning back in the day is the same thing. It wasn't as loved as it is loved now. When you look at this independently, doing things the way you did them 20 years ago because that's the way you did them is a really bad reason to do them. And that's this to a T. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know who this excites. This is probably going to get some hate from Toyota fanboys, which seem to come out and just love everything and act like Toyota doesn't have a massive engine problem ever that's actually going on currently. But it's just not that exciting, and I don't know that it's Toyota's fault. I don't know I don't know that it's Aston Martin's fault. I don't know that it's McLaren's fault. I don't know that we can lay the blame at them. I can tell you this seems like the wrong way to launch a car in 2025, and I think the crowd and the internet goes, let's not do this again.
I like how you can sit in your Lexus, one of your bulletproof Lexuses, and make that story post on the Clutch Culture page about the teardown, the mechanic that tore down the engine, and just kind of just like post and ghost, and then just see who replies what.
Yeah, for anybody that hasn't seen it, I mean, somebody got a hold of a guy that actually tears down engines for a living. Got a hold of the V6 that's grenading itself, and he says the story that Toyota's telling doesn't seem to be true. I mean, that's the gist of it. And
he's not going to know enough. People are going to say he doesn't know enough.
Yeah, he just goes, I don't think this is the reason. I would see debris in a lot more places than I see it. There's an issue here. I am now, and many of you guys would probably know better than me, but I'm getting texts that maybe even some of the replacement engines have grenaded themselves on a small level. So we're looking at this brand going through a transition, and we need to keep saying this because I say this in the comments all the time. Toyota's one of the few brands that deserves the benefit of the doubt on things like engine and reliability because they've always gotten it figured out. They deserve the benefit of the doubt, and that's what I'm giving them. That doesn't mean you gloss over what's going on in the moment.
You brought up Mustang, right? I know it's kind of weird, Ford Mustang or Toyota and Mustang, but there was an article by Automotive News. They're like celebrating their centennial year of publishing news, and they had a guest essay by Bill Ford. And the title was "Legendary Mustang Represents Freedom, Optimism to Generations Around the World." Now, I don't think that's the case anymore. You just said it, right? The sales are down. The outlook of what the Mustang once was to not just Americans, but to everybody around the world has completely turned upside on its head. So would you say, is there a replacement to that? Could you say right now that something else gives that to Americans or anyone else around the world?
I mean, I think,
to say, right?
I think Bill Ford is really reaching on what the Mustang has meant.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just a car. Number one, I don't know if it's a sign of freedom or, whatever. I mean,
you watch your mouth. You don't get me riled up this early in the morning.
That's pretty dramatic. I mean, it was just a car. Let's take a deep breath. But I don't know, man. I think a lot of us were looking forward to the successor of the LFA. I think a lot of you watching were probably like, "What's Toyota going to do?" I think it's been bungled head to toe. And by a brand that kind of does this, right? Like Slate gets announced and Toyota's like, well, we've been working on this thing for the U.S. for years. And it's like, they've never talked about it since. They just
I was hoping to see Sung Kang in a LFA with a V10 and Fast and Furious 15. Like, that's what I wanted, not some vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, and not something released in this way. And I don't want, if Simon or anybody from his team hears this, I know why you did it this way because it's always been done this way. And every one of your competitors is doing it this way, and every one of you guys keep doing it this way, and it continues to get more and more underwhelming, and it continues to be more and more head-scratching for people, not just 20-year-olds. Again, I'm 40-plus years old. It's head-scratching to me. And I just go, this is not 2025 material. This is what you did when you didn't have the connectivity around the world.
Right.
We're connected, guys. You guys have a cell phone in your pocket that could have done a better launch than this.
You could have literally, you have everybody's phone numbers and emails. You could have sent like an SMS text thread where you sent a custom 3D, some kind of like augmented reality thing to right directly to people's phones, and then through their meta glasses, they could project what they were watching.
And by the way,
no.
Yeah, hold on, Robin. Let's be clear. Whatever you text them to write in the magazine, on the internet, whatever, that's what they were going to write anyway. They didn't need to be in the building.
Why'd you bother?
Yeah, they just tell them what to say. They were going to say it because they've been saying the same thing that you guys tell them to say for 40-plus, 50-plus years. Like, let's not act like you're not giving them the talking points anyway.
Hey, we make a lot of wrestling references here. Are we officially the heels of automotive podcasting? I feel like sometimes when we talk, we're the heels of automotive wrestling, automotive content.
Yeah, but I'm not blaming.
No one else is saying this.
Here's the thing: I'm not blaming it. It's
No,
like
no, there's no blame.
they're going to put out exactly what you want them to put out. And then they're going to add a little blurb at the end of what they thought about the car. Cool, man. I don't know. Have Whistle and Diesel drive the car. Have Cletus McFarland drive the car around a track. I mean, have a pro driver drive it around the track. Get a Formula One guy to drive it around the track. Do something.
Dude, Dale Earnhardt Jr. out there.
There you go.
With Cletus.
Whatever. Okay, whoever enter your favorite guy or gal. Is it better than this? Are people producing YouTube content as an independent content creator better than what you guys just did? That tells you there's a problem.
It's so strange. I know we're kind of at least I'm harping on this because we've been keeping up with this stuff, man, since the, PBS days, since Auto Week, since all the magazines, and then the content and the videos. And then you get to this point in 2025, as we're wrapping up the year, going into 2026, and you feel like, did we just step back into like a 15-year-old time machine with this unveiling of what was supposed to be a supercar?
Yeah, and great way to say it. And it's the same thing that's happened time and again, brand and again. This is not picking on Toyota. This is just what we keep doing. Are you going to the LA car show?
Does anybody go to the LA?
Are you going to the Detroit car? What did they unveil at the Detroit car show?
Plastic.
This is what we're doing? Like, the people that go to those car shows that write about cars are going to write what you tell them to write. You don't need to impress them. Send the tchotchkes to their office. They'll give you. You're good. Okay, you guys have had this figured out. You don't have to keep doing this.
I love that word, tchotchkes. So when we talk about media, is there any? Okay, if Nick has the magic wand, all right, and you kind of already given some good examples even at the top of the show, how would you have rolled out this, or pick another manufacturer, pick another car maybe even that's coming out or that came out that did it better, and what would be like good, better, best? What would be like, this was obviously not the best, what would have been slightly better, and what would have probably nailed it,
I think there's only one thing. You got to think about social media, hype, how to get people excited. That needs to be the baseline. The baseline needs to be that we live in a world where attention is what matters. Okay? Mm-hmm. Attention can take a car that seemingly many people aren't that interested in, which this would rank in that very low number of people that are interested. And how do I get the most amount of people interested? Well, in 2025, it's through hyping things up through multiple channels of social media. Having things made for TikTok and Instagram and YouTube and long form and short form and clips. It's a barrage that should have lasted an entire week for a brand the size of Toyota. From this point on, it seems like their whole idea was, let's pull the cover off the car, which, by the way, they'll do that when you order a Macan at the dealership. Like, let's keep pulling the cover off. Whoa. That's your idea?
Audi did that for my pre-owned Volkswagen, by the way.
Yeah, 100%. Wait, and you're like, where's the bow?
Yeah, I had the bow.
There you go.
I swear to God, it had the bow.
Guys, this is, and I don't say this towards Toyota. We're talking about, in general, what needs to change. Think about all the EV launches. Think about all the cars being launched, all the things these brands have put a lot of time, a lot of teams, a lot of people have put a lot of effort in. The name of the game is attention. And a lot of times attention, even if it only lasts a week, can get people to change their mind and lose sight that maybe the car is underwhelming or the car is not exactly what they want. But you can get excited and go, man, did you see that TikTok? Man, did you see that Instagram reel? Man, did you see that YouTube video? We seem to have no thought because I truly believe these brands think they're above that.
I totally agree with you. And I think that's coming from a lot of the bigger, not just automotive-wise, but like big companies. They're kind of losing the plot a little bit because things have been so good. Money's been rolling, right? Investments have been up, all that kind of stuff. And then you kind of get slapped with, or at least in my opinion, they're going to get slapped with reality when, for instance, Mustang's not selling or fill in the blank isn't going to be selling. You're gonna have to try a little bit harder to get people's attention, or even get them in the door anywhere. Dealers have always been also like the people that always get the most hate. We've heard it here since we
Yes.
started the podcast. Replace the dealers, straight to consumer, whatever.
Yeah, the manufacturer is way better than the dealer. This is what they thought was great, dude. This in their world, they think this is great. You think they're gonna take care of you when they come on. I
What a
mean,
great way to tie that together too. Like anytime anybody says that, like, did you see the launch of the LFA? Like, you want the manufacturer to hand you your car?
What did they name it again? Is it just the GT
Well, that's
or the
the
GR?
GR GT, right?
Oh, okay.
Well, that's going to be so. That I was. Let's go ahead and move on to that one. I was gonna say, and I guess it is still kind of fair to say, to their credit, they did roll out this GR GT twin turbo V8. It's basically a street legal race car is what they're calling it, right? And everybody has basically written the same headline and the same first paragraph about the car. Fair, fine. Any thoughts on that? I'll pull up pictures. I think there's a video of that rolling into it.
I will say there's one thing that I kind of like that they did is they really didn't try to go too supercar on the design, which I think can be overdone for brands like Toyota. They kind of
LFA or
no
GT?
the GR. Okay. The GR GT. I think they did an okay job of being kind of subdued and cleaner lines and not be so dramatic and try to be something that they aren't. They kind of stayed true to themselves with this design. People can love it or hate it. Design is an individual thing. Mm-hmm. I just go, wow, you pulled two cars onto the stage, which is what we're watching right now if you're not watching on YouTube. Okay. I mean,
there's more flashing lights in this than there was at the Metallica show. I'm just going to tell you right now.
No question. No question. Like, I don't know why they didn't add pyrotechnics.
Well, James Hetfield doesn't like pyro. I know you're talking about the car, but James doesn't do pyro anymore since he got burned. But you're right; they should have done something here. I mean that I paused it on this close up of the GT car back here. I mean, it looks cool.
It looks cool from the front.
Isn't it kind of reminiscent? Like from a certain angle, I was like, if you glance at him, like, was that a Ford? Was that a GTD?
Well, and I think we have this problem. I'd like to hear people in the comments. We're getting eerily close to going, is this? Is that? Is this? That kind of looks like this. I mean, we're getting pretty close to design languages just being the same no matter the brand. I mean, we just talked about the Telluride looking like the Range Rover from the back. I mean, we're pretty eerily close on a lot of cars going, who's making that?
Yeah, you mean the Tellur Rover? Yeah, 100%.
The Temu Rover?
The Temu Tellur Rover.
Yeah, like, I want people to really leave a comment. I don't want to blame Toyota here. Let's all be fair. We haven't gotten a lot of, people driving it around, putting it on a track, hearing it, going through gear. We just don't have any. And I think that's the mistake. The mistake is that should have been the launch. The launch should have been, let's have the car driving around, again, a closed track, which you guys are so fascinated with as brands, to tell me what your car does on track. Just do the track video. Then just stop this.
By the way, this is going to be close to, I forgot which Porsche it was, GTS weight, like 3,800 pounds, which I think the Porsche came in at 3,500 pounds. It's going to be a lightweight race car, basically. Bravo.
I think we have no reason to say that Toyota hasn't built a fast, nimble car here. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that they have. Many of you, and we see it with our numbers, are just not interested in this stuff.
No. You know what they are interested in? This is a perfect segue because I'm seeing more of this. And after seeing this kind of unveiling, it kind of tells me more why probably. Man, I need to sell my 22 to get a 97. Man, I'm really not digging this 23. I probably go back and get an early 2000s. Fill in the blank, dude. I've been seeing that across all kinds of posts, not just ours, but other people like other publications like this or other just videos of modern cars, reviews or whatever. And I mean, we've been saying this shit for months. Like, it really is one of those things where, and I don't know if you've noticed this, a lot more of like pawpaw trucks on the internet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Like, people that are super like pawpawing in their trucks, or they'll like de-pawpaw it a little bit where they'll take like the rails off and, maybe like switch something up, put different tires on it. But a lot of Ford, Chevy, occasional Dodge, but mostly Ford and Chevy, just old school trucks, man. There's this mom, as a matter of fact, who went from Range Rover mom to 2001 Excursion mom because she was like, that's my dream car. I got tired of the Range Rover. I got the Excursion. I feel like my dream has come true. And I saved it. I'm going to send it to you in case you haven't seen it. Dude, there's something about it. It's not just nostalgia. It's not just anything other than it is nostalgia, but it's reliable. They like it. It means something to them. It elicits some sort of response as well when they
I
drive
think
either
you're
the
hitting
kids.
all the nails on the head.
From driving the kids to school to driving to your parents on Thanksgiving, like the whole thing, the whole gamut, it runs the gamut of like, if I'm going to pay, like, what's an excursion? I haven't looked up the prices, but like,
Let's just say you can get a good one for 40. Let's just say you can get
okay,
almost a really good one for 40.
40, right? Let's just say you go higher mileage and you're in the 30, 35, like $35,000 for a modern 2022 345 fill in the blank isn't getting you a whole lot because it doesn't have any of the bells and whistles. And also you lose all the other factors that I mentioned as well.
And I think, there's people that have bought a lot of different new cars, let's say from 2015 to 2025, a lot of plastic, no emotion, no sound. And again, I think that's okay. That's where we're at in the manufacturing of cars. This idea that just because we say how things are, that we're bashing how things are, that isn't actually true. Because I get in my whole life is car collections and then the newest of the new high-end car.
yeah.
Like that's my world. I get in a lot of new cars and go, hey, this thing's pretty nice.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't hate on it. I don't go, yeah, you paid $250 for this, a piece of crap. That's not what it is. That's not my reality.
Shout out to those commenters, by the way. We do get that a lot.
Yeah, and I go, but guys, I also know the people that can afford those things. I know many of you who can just afford something that costs $65,000 too, or $40,000. And you go, I paid $48,000 for ... and I'm bored out of my mind. And it's not interesting. And I want to drive something more interesting. And so I sold that and I bought this such and such Gen 1 of this, and I'm having a ball. And it's not what everybody thinks I should be driving. And all my buddies have new cars, and I didn't like mine. And I bought 5 different new cars, and I hated them all. And it didn't matter what brand. I think that kind of conversation is here to stay because I want to alert everybody to something we've been saying for a year. This is not going to change. There's no going backwards.
I do want to mention this because we haven't brought it up in a while. CT5 Blackwing prices starting to dip into the low mid 70s, by the way. Just saying.
I mean, Land Cruiser 4-cylinder or
2023 CT5 Blackwing with only 30, 40, 50,000 miles. Ooh. 75 grand, 74 grand.
It's pretty enticing.
That's extremely enticing for 70 grand.
And think, for those that weren't paying attention to that market, 125, 123, you're 50 grand off of that now. Woo. That's enticing.
There was a point in time earlier this year when we were talking about these particular cars more, maybe like around the springtime. I'd look it up nationwide, and there were maybe like a dozen. There's over 50 of them now. So
we're
just
seeing
something
it.
to think about.
And all of you probably need to hear this because we don't talk about it every week. There's a lot of change in the market. It's definitely loosening. You're definitely seeing, cars depreciate on a normal depreciation curve again. You're not seeing the market. I know people talk about new car prices a lot. Used car prices have loosened, and the 5 Blackwing kind of proves that because that was untouchable. I mean, that was untouchable for that to think that you and I would be talking about something that would easily sell in the 6 figures now being in the mid 70s. And I get it. There's mileage on it, and that's what you're going to be your argument. But I know stuff that had was getting a lot of mileage quickly on those cars, and they were still holding price.
I don't have it in front of me, but it was just something I was going to research for like a future episode. But Bronco, we've talked about Bronco a lot, but those prices are collapsing at the moment right now.
It turns out when you make a zillion of something, the prices will normalize sometime.
I mean, you're talking about half too. Like some of these were going for over 100,000. Now you're lucky to sell them for 50, 60.
Yep.
So
and we saw it happen in the Telluride and Palisade market. That probably crashed the fastest and the quickest when things normalized, where people, whether you guys were there looking at that market, there's people that paid $75, $82, $69,000, and when they went to trade them in, they hit $45,000 pretty quickly. I mean, but they held steady during a really weird time of 12 to 24 months.
Yeah. You know what's not crashing? Bullion. Get your bullion at. No. Start selling gold and silver.
That's funny.
It is an interesting time, man, because gold is, I mean, it's one of those things where people, if you pay attention to markets, cool. If you don't, it's probably not, interesting to you, but it's rapidly, it's raising at a point we haven't seen since the 70s. That's all I'm going to say. I love history. You guys should look into it. If you haven't, it's really interesting.
Yeah, I think precious metal bugs that run ads all the time on their shows, it makes me want to listen to their show less.
I like how you just kind of look over to the side. All right, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just like, okay, bud. There's a guy. I won't say his name here because people will get pissed. He's been right about 0 recessions out of the last 350 he's been predicting of the world collapsing, and I just go, people still listen to this guy.
Hey, he's a charismatic SOB, all right?
Yeah. I go,
listen.
I go. He's been talking about the world collapse since 1991.
He'll eventually be right.
Yeah,
and egg on our face.
Then he'll be like this. I told you. It's like, no, but for like 45 years, you were
We're gonna be old and gray. It's like you finally nailed it.
He'll be dead, long dead.
Yeah, true. No, he's gonna record himself. He's gonna store himself in a server somewhere.
Yeah, gonna put his head.
He's gonna
100%.
Yeah, his head's gonna be in a bottle. All right, let's shift gears here. By the way, if you're new to the podcast, welcome to the #1 automotive-related podcast on planet Earth. We talk about news, trends, predictions, obviously about the market, but more importantly, offer you a good hang every single Monday. We have not missed a Monday in now over a year. Christmas is around the corner. If you need some stuff, hypercleanstore.com.
Well, we kind of missed the Monday, but we posted it on a Friday.
Yeah, we posted it early, and a lot of you guys said shout out on the idea because my wife's making me go to Costco, and now I get to listen to the podcast. So thank you.
Your Costco brethren you guys are a wild bunch.
Shout out to all of the responses on my personal IG and also to the story sticker about how much you're paying for gas, why Nick doesn't like. By the way, Tier 1 gas, I got a couple of people saying, hey, Costco's Tier 1 gas. I didn't know that things were qualified as Tier 1 gas, so I'm going to let Nick sit on that. If he wants to comment on it, he can.
You guys are big fans of 5 pounds of mayo you don't need.
You don't know how big our families are.
You don't know how much mayo I put on my sandwiches.
Yeah, goddamn right. Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. All right. I had a video that was sent to me that is actually an old video. Maybe you've seen it. Do you know, I don't know if it's true to this day, but a couple years ago, Jay Leno came out and said he doesn't own any Ferraris.
Yeah.
Do you know why Leno doesn't own any Ferraris?
So the story keeps evolving.
It's random because from years ago.
For everybody that doesn't know, his original pure reason that he stated originally was he didn't like being made to buy a couple models to get the big model.
Right. Now
that other companies have copied Ferrari's model that he owns, he's like, well, it's also the service. I get better. It's like, well, that wasn't the reason. And I love Jay. And I think he's the ultimate car guy. And I'd love to hang out with him and just shoot the shit. So don't anybody get this wrong. That story has changed. And you know why?
No, why?
Because Porsche copied Ferrari in the allocation.
Oh, duh. We've been talking about that. Yeah, I should have put that together.
And I'm sure people around him go, the GT program at Porsche is kind of a mess. Not for you, but for lots of other people. Don't think that story, because now he's like, with McLaren, they just come pick up my McLaren and service it.
Right.
I don't know, man. I got a lot of clients with Ferraris. They do the same thing. Your story's changing. I'm not ragging on it. You can buy what you want. Everybody needs to hear that. I don't care what you buy. It's his money. He can do what he wants. That story is changing. The original story was he was told to buy to buy a car before he got the special car. That was the original story. Now that everyone's kind of copying Ferrari's model in this elite car world, he's like, well, in the service and the way they talk to me. And it's like, well, that wasn't the original reason. I was there when I heard the original reason. For any of you that heard his original story, that was the original story.
Don't get it twisted, all right?
Yeah, it's all good, man. Spend your money on what you want. But if you think Ferrari is somehow different than what's going on in the Porsche GT program and with the GT3 and et cetera, come on, man. That was direct copied from Ferrari.
Come on, man. All right, let's shift into an email real quick. We talked about the Temu Rover, the Kia Telluride Rover, the Palisades.
Hey, you're gonna have people just bent calling it Temu Rover.
I like the Temu Rover. I've said this. I got flack from Nick early on when I may have even compared it before it actually looked like a Range Rover. Back in the day when we made the Defender videos and the Range Rover videos, it went pretty wild on social. And, I wasn't going to pay the prices that people were paying during the lockdown era of the world because, I mean, you know this better than anybody. They're so upside down, or they were so upside down on those cars that it felt like life was over for some of them. Like, what did I do?
Agreed.
Literally, what is it, Tiger King? I'm never going to financially recover from this. That was a lot of those people. And I feel bad for them, but, you gotta live with the decisions you make. So we had an email from one of our listeners. Shout out Rob, not me, Rob Smith. He's had a couple of them, okay? So I'm going to summarize the email. He's got a couple of Palisades, 3 of them to be exact. Usually no issues. All of them have worked pretty good, except for some cracked plastic, some broken windows, or broken glass. And all in all, no complaints. They want to upgrade to a 25, and funny enough, this is what we said in the videos, they're going to that 4-cylinder turbo. First thing he said was like, dude, I want the 6. Like, these things are already big. They're only getting bigger. He's not going to try. Now, you're going from a customer who's had 3 of those vehicles, who's considering not buying his 4th just because of those choices. Yep. I think a lot of people are going to make the similar choice. They're just not going to go that route.
And I think to summarize Rob's email, he also said he kept them pretty short period of time.
Very, very important.
Very important point. Okay. So you as a buyer, me as a buyer, whoever's buying the car, lots of cars, for everybody that wants to get on Range Rover and everybody that wanted to get on Jaguar back in the day and all this kind of stuff, if you kept them a year or two, you didn't really deal with the issues. Same with a Hyundai, same with a Kia, same thing we tell all the Toyota people that tell me that they keep their car for 43 years, and it turns out the data says they don't. Almost every car manufacturer, from Ford to Chevy to whatever, pretty good the first 2 years. Yeah. If it doesn't have some grenading problem or some massive manufacturing issue. So he's experienced the Palisade exactly how we would tell you to. Get it for a couple years before that thing starts to have the seats tear and the plastics crack and, all the wear and tear, you're on to the new one. That's a great way to buy a Hyundai Palisade. When we talk about the Hyundai Palisade, it's talking about living with it for an extended period of time. I think that's where many of you would go, I wish I wouldn't have bought this, or I wish I wouldn't have bought that from this company. The same goes for a Range Rover. I've never told anybody to keep them for 10 years. Go listen to what I said. Great car. Most people trade them in after 24 to 36 months. Exactly what I tell people.
Dude, we should do voiceovers of car commercial ads, essentially, where it's you reviewing or kind of like doing what you do in real life, advising people on cars, purchasing cars, all that kind of stuff. But it's in a perspective that you just said, because if I close my eyes and I just heard you describing this Palisade to somebody and that's a great way to buy a Palisade. You just kind of forget it after 2 years, move on to the next thing. And now we're buying whatever.
Yep.
The people don't usually hear that from people. It's look, because a lot of people think I'm going to buy this, I'm going to keep this for 10 years. They don't end up keeping it for 10 years. They don't end up keeping it for 5 years most of the time.
Nope.
And then they're on to the next thing that they are scared that they might have issues with. And then they just forget to themselves, oh, wait, bro, I don't keep these cars that long. Why am I really worried about it? They're just
and a lot of it is to argue in a comment section.
Well,
right?
That's a big part of it.
That's really the part of it. Is everybody wants to say that your opinion, this guy over here's opinion's wrong. It's no, I listened to him. It's not the wrong opinion. You just are making up how people experience cars. To sit there and tell me Range Rovers are junk, when the vast majority of people that buy a new Range Rover keep it 36 to 24, maybe 48 months at the most, it's all under warranty. They send it back. If they got a recall, they have it handled. They're not buying the used third owner Range Rover that, yes, we all admit is problematic. We've never advised that. Okay? Just like I would tell you, don't be the third owner of a Palisade. Don't be the third owner of a Telluride. Don't be the third owner of most Chevy Tahoe models. Don't be the third owner of ...
7 Series BMW.
Yes, do not be the third owner of a 7 Series BMW. Do not be the third owner of an AMG S63. There's just a lot of cars that fit don't be the third owner, right? But people don't want to hear what is actually said. That most cars that many of us want to experience, it sucks being the third owner.
Dude, there's this video I saw of somebody sent me of a mechanic, and or he was doing maybe a conference, but he's a shop guy, and he was basically saying like, look, if a customer brings you a car and
Oh,
it's a 17, have you seen it?
yes.
Oh, dude. So just to summarize it for people, he gives a description of like, look, you're going to come the first time. It's going to be $3,000. You're going to pay it because you like the car. You're going to come back a second time and it's going to be another $3,000. I'm going to tell you, you might not want to do this. You should probably just get rid of it now. You're going to do it anyway. And he ends up telling the stories like, you're going to come back a fifth time. It's going to be $7,500. And you're going to say, there's no way I'm going to tell you to get fucked because I told you to get rid of this car forever
Yep.
ago.
And by the way, you thought you got a good deal was his whole premise.
Right. Exactly.
Right? Like you thought you got a good deal.
Yep.
So when you look at this, and I know the people that listen to us and actually listen to the podcast are not consuming clips, understand this about us. I want you to buy what you want. And there's sometimes I have been the third owner of cars I shouldn't have been. But I've accepted the responsibility of that.
What was it, by the way?
My E90, I'm the third owner.
Okay.
Okay, my E90, I'm the third owner. But you got to remember, I bought it. It had 30-some thousand miles on it.
Okay. Do you have a good story of a third plus ownership?
Yeah, my E90 right now is a good story. I mean, I don't want to jinx myself, but yeah, it's a good story.
You just did.
Yeah.
You just fucked up. All right. What's the worst case scenario you've had?
An E39 M5. Yeah, I was like the third owner, and it was an utter nightmare. I mean, I basically had to gut every problematic thing out of that. Now, I bought it at a level that I knew how much money was going to have to be dumped. That doesn't mean I love dumping that money into it, right? Even when you know what you have to do, right? Even when you are somebody in my position that you go, okay, I'm getting a deal on this, but it's probably going to be another 12 grand. You don't love when you go from, okay, there's my first two. Now there's my next three spent. Uh-oh, here comes another three. It's never, and I already knew what I had to do. I didn't know that I was going to use all the money, but I was ready to use all the money. But the same goes, my LX, I posted this about my LX. I had to have a couple, sway bar linkages, sway bar links replaced. And I go, it's just amazing to me how many of you Toyota fanboys have had cars go 1,000,000 miles that you didn't change the oil, that you didn't need new tires, that you didn't need new brakes, that nothing ever broke, the way that you talk in the comments. Now, I'm saying that tongue in cheek, but guys, you got to remember, people do say that to their friends and family. Oh, I got this Toyota. I got 350,000 miles. I haven't had to do anything. I haven't had to do anything,
goddamn
Rob.
Liar. You're such a goddamn liar.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, come on. Everything has a price. And when you're second owner, when you're third owner, that price gets bigger. And when you buy these cars that are finicky and you don't know what the previous two owners did maintenance-wise, boy, that price goes up pretty quick.
You know what really grinds my gears? And shout out, by the way, to Rob. He wrapped up that email by saying, by the way, she's topped off with Dose, which is your 2-year ceramic coating from HyperClean, and all their HyperClean products inside and out. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you, man, for writing that email. We'll get to another one shortly. But you know what really grinds my gears is when you're in the school pickup line, if you're ever there, Nick, or any listener, and the people don't know how to give you some space, all right? You're way too close to the car in front of you. So yesterday, as a matter of fact, I have these premonitions, Nick. I don't want to, say this, that I got some kind of power of any sorts, but I see things sometimes. I'm like, that's probably going to unfold, poorly for somebody.
That's not going to be good.
Sure enough, a 2005, maybe 2010 at the newest, Nissan Murano, way too close to this really nice desert storm-colored Sequoia. And I'm like, you're just way too close. Lady wasn't paying attention. Boop. Rear ends it.
Seriously?
In the school pickup line. I'm serious, swear to God. I was like, oh my. I knew that was going to happen. And the lady gets out, and you could just tell she is annoyed, because it wasn't hard, but you still rear-ended it. Like, you're going to have some plastic damage on there or whatever. So, we make it around, and they exchange information after they pick up their kids, which, by the way, what an awkward, because the kids were friends. They walked up to the cars at the same time. Yep. One gets in the, you know what I mean? And now, so please give space at lights, at stop signs.
Do you think, and I think we all know the answer to this, but I want to put this out there. Has the cell phone epidemic in the car gotten to a place that we all need to fear for our life when we're driving?
The entire circle, which is a large circle at the pickup line, has signs about every 20 feet, 10 feet maybe even, $200 fine if you're on your phone. That's how out of hand the parents have gotten in these school pickup lines with their phones.
That's just a pickup line, by the way. You don't even know what they're doing in traffic.
Oh, of course. No, I honk at people when I see them. I honk just to scare them because you see them weaving in and out of the lanes, and then you get next to them, they're looking down. I honk just to scare them. Hopefully they don't end up hitting me.
Do you think a tech situation we're going to find ourselves in inside of cars? Because, let's look at the seatbelt law. technically you're regulating what I have to wear inside the car that I bought and I'm paying for, which we can get into the government part of that, right?
Sure.
Do you think we get to a point where tech is going to disable your phone in the car? Like, do you think we're going to get to that point?
I'm actually surprised, and I don't want to speak this into existence because if you have self-control, maybe there's some inconveniences of that happening, but I'm surprised that it isn't disabled the way that your keyboard is disabled when you put Apple CarPlay or whatever on your screen, right? You can't type on the screen when the car's moving. I'm surprised that you can still use your phone when you're hooked up to CarPlay or anything like that as it's moving. So
I'm kind of surprised too. I mean, it feels like it's coming because we went and did a family thing last night, and it gets dark early. You know, we're all in that position, right? And we're on a major artery, you know, that's lights and tons of people and a time of day when there's even more people than normal. And I'm looking around and 3 or 4 cars, I see people the phone is right in front of their face. It looks like they're FaceTiming. I mean, and you go,
I've seen that.
yeah, I mean, I've seen it too. So have all of you. And I'm not dad, get off my lawn about it, but it feels like we're getting to a breaking point. Yeah. Where all of us go, like you said, you're in the school pickup line and you don't understand. And that's all phone related, right? That's, you know, that lady, that guy was close to that other car because at some point they were messing with their phone and they just didn't gauge the distance. And here we are. And you go, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? People love that phone. I mean, I have the conversation. It seems like every time I'm in the car with more than one person, that's not my kids, it's adults and my kids, the person in the passenger seat goes, man, that person's on their phone. Man, look at that guy, he's on his phone. Do you get that too?
Oh, dude, absolutely. Absolutely. And my wife or I, we usually call it, the kids, well, obviously they're not really paying attention out the window, but
right.
I see it all the time. It's terrifying because, listen, if you got to like glance at your phone, don't do it when you're around 18-wheelers and 80-mile-an-hour traffic. Like, do it somewhere where there's literally nobody there to even see you, and if you freaking move out of your lane, you're not going to hit somebody. But people just don't. I don't know, man. I know this get off my lawn thing. Nick says I'm not trying to be. I am trying to be that sometimes because this is getting out of hand.
Hey, let me tell you, I am a dad. I do have a lawn, and get off of it.
Bro, best lawn in the entire neighborhood every year.
There you go.
I just had
lawn of the year. Is that you're waiting for the end of the year award?
Oh, yeah, and I get it every year.
Yeah.
I winterize. The way that Nick is winterizing his LX right now, which you're about to see videos roll out on the Hyper Clean Store channel, I winterize my lawn like nobody else.
Yeah, you're like, you go, hey, Ted, get on your lawn game.
Hey, look at this skin tone color, right? I know the light's on me right now.
I was going to say something, but you know,
it's in the blood.
Yeah, you're not allowed to. You know, we're not allowed to make those kind of jokes.
You're allowed to do everything on this show. You guys, you want an uncensored version of this show? You just tune in.
Well, I mean, you know, look, just living in Las Vegas, landscaping, it's in your blood. I mean,
of course,
it's who you are.
Yeah.
You know?
Hey, we're from the H. Hey, soy del H. ¿Sabes qué? Soy del H. En el H, hey, sabemos cómo hacerlo.
That's funny. Hey, we just had 25 white people get off. They're like, I didn't know Rob was that.
That's true. Shout out Missouri Adventures, by the way. He sent me a DM about the hoodie and the holidays and Thanksgiving and stuff. And he asks me, like, how country did I grow up? And I explained it to him. And he's like, oh, okay. Yeah. You know, he had a very similar, like, because people don't know. We've talked about it. If you haven't listened, like, Missouri Adventures has listened to the show, I think, for the majority of the time we've been doing it. And if you're new to the show, Nick also grew up kind of country bumpkin of sorts, Jeep life, right? Yep. People might not know that based off what you do now, similar for me, but that's true.
Yeah, no, we you know, canned sauerkraut and, you know, that kind of stuff. Like, you know, it was a great way to grow up. I mean, you actually wonder, you have kids, I have kids. Are my kids missing out on what, you know, I grew up like because we're living in a city and that kind of thing? And look, it's a topic in my head quite a bit. Like,
dude, we have to fabricate some tough times, essentially.
Yeah, well, I mean, when we are picking out our own Christmas gifts with grandma at the store we're at, that's a lot different than how I grew up. And that's been my week of hearing, well, they kind of pointed at this, and then I put it in my cart, and then so-and-so, and I go, this is a little different than my experience. I mean, I've said that a lot this last couple of weeks of my family in town. I go, you didn't do that when I grew up, you know?
Wow, you can do that? I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, no, but you're grateful for it. You know, you're grateful for great-grandparents, and, you know, I had great-grandparents growing up. But yeah, I think when you look at how you and I were brought up and in the era and a little bit different than one another, but kind of similar, that's what gives us the unique perspective on cars too. It's like,
Yeah.
I really want to say this as much as we can probably next year. Guys, we talk a lot about the things that we like, but I'm also really cool with the things other people like too. You know, like I'm not into JDM or lowriders, but when I go to those shows or I see them driving around, I go, man, that's kind of cool. That guy did this, that guy did that. And that's what the culture's about. All of this versus that I see kind of happening in the automotive, I don't think it is this versus that. It's like me making the comment, having the utmost respect for Jay Leno, but going, that story's changed over the years. Like that's what you're supposed to do to people you respect. You go, hey man, you've kind of changed that story because some things have come to light that maybe a lot of other companies are doing business like Ferrari is doing.
Whoops.
Yeah, I can't say it that way anymore.
Whoopsie. All right, we're going to wrap up and land the plane with this another email this was from Josh. So listener Josh writes in, it's a pretty long email. I'm going to summarize some of it, but basically the title is The Perfect 7-Car Solution.
Hey, I love it.
This was an incredible email. You took a lot of time to write it, Josh. We highly appreciate it. Although the subject said the perfect 7-cat solution, so when I read it, I was like, "Is this spam? Am I going to get a corn email here that come through on our podcast page?" But no, it was below that 7-car solution. I'm going to go through his cars, his stable, and if you want to rate them, which I think would be fun to do, or rank them rather in Nick's order of favorite, we can do that. So he's got a 2019 F-150 Raptor, a 22 Yukon, a 22 e-tron, a 22 BMW M850, a 16 Challenger Hellcat, a 17 ATS-V, and a 2003 911 Turbo.
Well, 911 Turbo wins.
Obviously.
Yeah. Raptor, I can get down with that.
I agree.
And then you're in a mishmash, right? Like where does the e-tron rank? Because if you have like a really shitty commute, like if you're in downtown Chicago or, something, or what Vegas has turned into at rush hour, that e-tron could be real helpful, to calm you down before you have the kids screaming at your house. You got a nice calm ride home. I hope everybody understands what I mean by that.
It's a good point.
But at the end of his email, it seems like he loves that Yukon.
It seems like it, yes. Let me summarize the Yukon part here. So my hat is off. Let me see. My hat is off to my Yukon SLE, underappreciated even by me, and it has to be the complete bargain by standards, costing me around $10,000 in depreciation, routine maintenance, and the rest has never let me down. But it has been my whip for some of the most important events of my life. Hail the base spec. That is such a funny way to end an email.
Well, and when you go up in spec and when you go up in trim with almost any brand, you're getting more problematic engine bolt-ons, quote unquote. You're getting more problematic trim pieces. You're getting more problematic features, because we've said this with the whole tech stacking that's going on inside of cars, where we're just adding tech for the sake of adding tech, not that it makes your life any better. So that's the same with trim models, right? Like we had this discussion about what fully loaded used to mean, and now how people use fully loaded. They're like, they get a mid-tier spec and they're like, it's fully loaded. It's like, no, that's not what that means.
Fully loaded, honestly, is like it's got leather and lane keep assist.
Yeah, it's got a leather and a CD. It's like, okay, we got it. But, I think he's probably experiencing what many of us have experienced in our lives. If you bought enough cars, you go, I just got this vehicle. I didn't think it'd be that great. And now it's like, I've driven the shit out of this thing, and I think it's my favorite one, and it has no reason to be his favorite one.
Yeah, by the way, let me start at the top real quick. He's a longtime listener, first-time heckler. Nick is just a few years younger than I am. I find myself violently agreeing with most things, with him on most things.
Well, that means he's a smart guy. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Of course.
Yeah, so...
he tends to listen in batches, by the way, 4 to 6 episodes at a time, so he might not hear this for a while. I don't know what kind of work he does with that kind of a stable. He's probably a busy man, but that's hilarious.
What a cool 911 to have, though. I know some people aren't going to like it, but I think that's especially if you've had it, right? Like if he's had it for a while, I mean, he's probably just enjoyed the hell out of that thing with very little problem, because he doesn't probably get to drive it all that much, but the thing just starts up, it runs, he has a fun time, that kind of thing. But for any of you out there that are thinking of adding a car or an SUV or whatever, just a general vehicle, sometimes, and I'm as guilty as anybody, I think you are too, you overlook base models because you go, I want these extras.
Yeah.
This email kind of proves that the extras come with a lot of headache, and having that base model that he basically says, look, I'm just doing general maintenance and oil changes and my life's pretty simple with it. I mean, it'd be hard for me to rank that above the Raptor, but
Right.
I could see why because I just said what's happened to us all. There's sometimes you got a car you didn't think you'd be that into, and you're like, you know what? This thing's been pretty good to me.
When do you think that stopped? Because I think with the tech, like we've said, stacking all that stuff and getting the top, everything loaded really had kind of diminishing returns, longevity and reliability, that kind of stuff. But there was a certain time where like fully loaded was like, yeah, it was like classy chef's kiss kind of, fully
Yes.
loaded. And it's things that people now are going back to get. And again, I'm telling you, man, like the amount of 97 to like '05 GM stuff that I'm seeing and it seems like obviously they're doing it for the gram. The paint's fully polished. The glass looks brand new. Everything is done up, like they just bought it with 100,000 miles, but it looks like it's got like 10,000 miles on it. Like you're going to see a lot more of that next year.
I think that's the future of all this. I think you're seeing automotive YouTube change in front of your eyes.
Absolutely.
I think the people that review cars still have the same reality they've always had, which is the everyday drivers don't do well for car reviewers. Mm-hmm. Like they just don't. That's why they try to find special things, a singer or whatever, a Pagani, because that's what's going to move their numbers. For everybody that's not in the car review world, I think we're in for a massive overhaul over the next 12, 24, 36 months. Because number one, many of these guys can't keep the financials going. Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, a lot of the behind the scenes. I've been brought in on a lot of behind the scenes stuff with those creators. There's no more money. They can't keep doing this. And some of them are actually pretty honest on their channel, which I think is great. They're like, hey, we're not doing this anymore, and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And I'm even seeing things like the guy that I like, M539 Restorations. I mean, he's going to put some cars up for sale. He's like, I just have too many and I don't need this one and I want to do this next project. Well, for a lot of times on his channels, he could keep things much longer. And now that's changing. And I don't know what anybody's personal finances are. It's just an interesting thing to watch and go, and this is all changing. And I really believe it could be for the better.
I agree with you. And I think going into next year and then honestly the next couple of years, because at the end of the day, everybody's trying to sell something. Like we're trying to sell you entertainment at this point, of the show and come back and listen and, let's build a community here. And that's what we want to do next year as well. And then also there'll be some sort of product or service that someone's, wanting to offer us to pitch to you guys or that we have to pitch to you guys. And it's all in the effort to make your driving experience or your car owning experience better. And to me, I don't want to speak for Nick here, is if you're going to go ahead and spend new money, it doesn't always need to be on a new vehicle. I'd rather just spend new money that you acquire from you save, a bonus, whatever, and spend that new money on your old thing and just make it cooler. Like we've talked about that, right?
I think that's going to be, and I know a lot of the people listening to us, that's what they've always done. They like the platforms they like. As we get newer people that are trying to figure out how to navigate this very expensive world of cars that basically got hyper expensive in a 5-year period. Yeah. Right? It really happened in about a 24-month period and then just sustained itself. We're going to see new people coming into the automotive enthusiast, quote unquote, world that aren't necessarily the traditional car enthusiast, but they're trying to figure out how to navigate what do I do next? And if they find people like us, we're going to say, do you like what you have? Yeah. Then like you said, then just spend the $1,500 and instead of on a down payment, take that car you like and make it something you like even more.
Dude, that's exactly when you said down payment. That was the last thing I was actually going to say. What do you think? What do you think the average down payment is for an American on a car these days?
$2,500.
I was going to say the same thing. On a car, I'm going to say $3,000.
What is this? Price is Right? You're like 2501, Bob.
Rowdy.
$1.
All right, Oh, dude, I hated those people.
Yeah.
I hated those people with a passion. 20% on the new car, 10% on a used car. The average American, I'm saying, 4,000 to 4,200 seems kind of high, but that's what I'm getting here from our good old AI overlord.
Well, and you have to ask yourself: are they taking into account trade-ins? How are they manufacturing that number? I think
Good
there's
point.
some people. I was just telling people this about my GX that my family drives. It's one of the few cars that I bought with such low mileage that has literally been in the green since I got it.
Nice.
Like I've never been in the red, anywhere near the red. Like I started that car so far in the green, I've never gone to the red. Like
That's such a good feeling.
Yeah, it on a newer car that's pretty rare. And other people are going to be like, "Well, it hasn't been rare the last 5." It's been pretty rare. I've been buying cars for quite some time.
You can tell the amount of comments Nick gets in regards to opposite views of his. That's why.
Yeah, that's why I always say,
voice.
that's why, you don't know what you're talking about. It's like, yeah, dude, 2023 wasn't the real world. Relax. But I've been in the green, and I think I would say you and I probably have a different view of like down payments have gone up significantly, liability and financially what you have to give up on a monthly basis to own some of this stuff. I think we could see a lot of caution in new buying that we've never seen in the marketplace. Truthfully, like it's nobody's ever been the economy's never been a responsible new car buyer in my entire life. The average person has never been a responsible new car buyer. I think the prices are getting to the level now. People are going to be like, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to do that. That would be the first time in my lifetime that we see people go. Actively, the average person I'm talking about has never. That's why dealerships are worth so much money. That's why manufacturers are worth so much money, because the consumer has always been irresponsible as a car buyer. All good. I think now the prices are getting to a level where people are like, I just can't do it anymore.
All right. So I'm just going to make a bold, we've already kind of talked about it, but I'm going to make my own bold prediction in line with what you said. So next week is the next Fed meeting, last Fed meeting of the year. When you see what happens with interest rates, what happens to high yield savings, what happens to, as we go into 2026, more of the caution that you just described, I feel like is going to permeate the entire market, not just cars, but the entire market, but especially in cars, because it's such a luxury kind of like, if I got them, maybe you saved all of 2025 and you were going to buy a new car. Take that same down payment you're gonna put on a new car. I promise you, as long as your car is not completely clapped out, you can make it more fun, more enjoyable if you just put that $5,000 or whatever it is into the car you currently have.
Yeah, and you wouldn't even have to put the $5,000 in. Most of the time, It's like just upgrade the brakes. I've been riding around a little bit. I need to get the wheels repaired. You know what I mean? We're talking about stuff that's just not as expensive as that $5,000 and then that big monthly payment. Dude, I saw an average. Did you see the video about the average new Raptor payment?
Oh, I didn't. I missed it.
Like $1,500 a month.
Yikes! On a
Raptor.
That's crazy.
I love the Raptor platform. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we've been fans of it. $1,500 a month for a Raptor average payment.
Nick's young voice just came out. $1,500 for a Raptor.
Yeah, I did kind of hillbilly it up right there, huh?
I love that. Absolutely, dude. Okay, how low does a first gen have to drop where you're like, that is a buy now button?
Buddy, it was about a buy now button before this LX.
Really?
Hell, I mean, dude, you and I were sending them back and forth like, hey, let's call this dealer.
I know, but you didn't. But you didn't put the trigger on it because you liked what you saw out of the LX more.
Buy now's like a good low mileage one for 25. I think it's like you just go, I can't click it fast enough.
Hey, if you guys are looking in Arizona, there's a really nice blue one for 32.
Ooh.
It's starting to call my name.
Hey, what's the mileage?
Dude, I think it's like 70.
Yeah, all you got to do is get the shocks rebuilt,
the suspension, yeah,
or just put new ones on. Mm-hmm. I mean,
just saying, they're starting to creep down. They're starting to creep down.
Boy, you'd be on Border Patrol in no time with that Gen 1. Just for everybody who knows, the Border Patrol agents used to drive Gen 1s. You could just green and white it up, be down on the Texas border, be in a militia. You know what I'm saying?
I know Chief Roy. I know the chief in Arizona, Roy, former Chief Roy. I know him. Don't think I don't know him.
By the way, this is all a joke from me. This is not a political statement, so everybody calm down.
Yeah, right. If you stuck into an hour and 5 minutes of the show, you're a real one. You're not going to really get offended about what we say from here. We should say this is where the uncensored version of the show starts.
Cinemax After Dark.
What a time. What a young boy was able to see that.
You ain't lying.
All right, so that was my bold prediction, dude. I think that people are going to be spending their down payments that they had saved up on just improving their current rides.
I agree. I think it's going to be cool.
Yeah, I don't think it's a crazy thing to say. Just real quick, we'll get back to this email next week because I don't know if you had any takes on the M850. He seems to love it. 200-mile commute, loves,
No,
and
I
it's funny because
think he actually has the right. I'm actually surprised the e-tron's not as daily.
yeah, but yeah, he really seems to love this M Sport, which is funny because I think he was referring to us talking about what's a real M car, what's not a real M
No,
car.
and by the way, he acknowledged. He
He did acknowledge it.
Yeah, no, I do like the M850. I think he probably, and it seems like he's a bigger guy. I think he said in the email. Yeah, so
yeah.
there's some problems with the e-tron / Taycan that I've told people when I got in it. It did not, I'm about the same exact size. It just doesn't fit me that well. It's not that it's a bad fit. I'm not saying that. But compared to driving an M850, I'm guessing that's why he chooses that, would be my guess.
The ATS, underrated.
Yes.
Well enough, as
Agreed.
he said. And then the Raptor, surprisingly, goes off road, goes hunting, does all the things.
Yeah, you know what? He's the exact epitome. When I tell people I have clients that go off road, that go hunting with Raptors, like that, people don't do that. I'm like, okay, I don't know. I mean, it's like I got like 10 of them that says something different, but okay.
And then, of course, we talked about the SLE. Shout out to the SLE in the base model. It's got the 5.3. I mean, it's great, little stout motor. It's not the strongest thing in the world. It gets shitty gas mileage, but it does everything you need, and it's not going to break the bank.
Yeah.
Lastly, what was I going to mention? Dude, there's one more thing that was on the top of my head as we were talking now. It's going to come.
Are you going to mention your Houston Texans looking like they're rounding into form here?
Oh, dude, it only took half the season, right?
Yeah. I mean, you got a Buckeye at quarterback. I mean, what do you expect?
Yeah, oh boy, CJ's not looking too happy in those post interviews in the locker room. He's just looking
just letting you know. Yeah, just letting you know. You're getting some of that Buckeye love over there. Number one, going to go ahead and try to win this college playoff back to back.
Dude, electric. Honestly, just straight up electric.
I mean, their defense is nasty.
It's so good. I was watching the game last night. For a second, I'm not a huge Cowboys fan. My wife grew up watching the Cowboys, but they were getting dominated and then kind of came in within a distance of the Lions. I was like, oh, interesting.
Hey, that Lions team's kind of wild, huh?
That Lions team is exciting as well.
Boy,
are you keeping?
What's that?
Go ahead. Do you have an NFL team right now?
No, I don't have. I mean, I think the Patriots look like they're just gonna. Dude. And again, I have to say this: coached by a Buckeye, Mike Vrabel.
Dude, they're coaching. You just brought it all back together. Isn't that funny?
So for people that are follow this stuff, you see how big Mike Vrabel is. Used to get bullied by the coach of Wisconsin, Luke Fickell, who looks like a nerd. Luke Fickell, one of the all-time amateur wrestlers. There you go.
No way.
Yep.
Dude's huge.
Yeah, Mike Vrabel's huge. Mike Vrabel used to live close to one of my family members, and we went and grabbed breakfast at this breakfast spot, and he was in there with his family. The longest arms you've ever seen on a human being, just standing. Dude, they're past his knees, and he's a tall dude. But yeah, for everybody talks about how much, and they say it all the time on the broadcast, Vrabel's this badass, and he puts the pads on with the players even to this day. The badass in Vrabel's time was a guy named Luke Fickell, who played at Ohio State, coaches at Wisconsin. He was the one of the all-time great amateur wrestlers.
Nice. I did not know that. Thanks for that bit of information.
Little tidbit.
I remember do what?
Little tidbit for you.
Sports Corner. Welcome to Sports Corner. Thank you for tuning in to Sports Corner.
We're going to have an extra episode where we give you bad sports takes.
Yeah, bad sports takes and bad betting bets.
Yeah.
So if you want to take some bad bets, listen to us.
Sponsored by FanDuel.
Yeah. It's brought to you by ESPN Bet, which didn't last.
No, like the ESPN phone.
Or the ESPN service.
Or the ESPN restaurants. We can just keep going on and on.
The app is so bad. That app I have to relaunch it every time I open it. If I'm trying to watch UFC, open it, close it, open it.
Paramount Plus, it's coming.
I know. I already have it. I got to get ready for it, by the way.
Hey, I thought you'd be on Landman already. You didn't have Paramount Plus already?
Bro, that's literally, my wife was like, look, we have 3 months into a baseball season. What are we watching?
Landman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
you already watched it?
Oh, yeah, I'm on Landman tough.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, we can chat about this. We'll have what do we call it? We'll have
TV corner.
TV corner, E-corner, not E-corner. E-corner sounds a little weird. Entertainment corner, we'll call it. I found the thing, dude. I got to mention to you in case you haven't seen it before we head out the door. The 911 Turbo documentary, since we're talking about this 03. Haggerty and Jason Camisa put together a documentary.
Oh, I got to check that out.
Turbo.
I was just watching. Do you ever watch How It's Made Car Edition?
Not regularly.
I was just watching last night them make a 911 in the factory. It's wild you brought that up.
Yeah, so celebrating 50 years, 9/11 turbo documentary by Haggerty and Jason
Yeah,
Camisa
I'll
at the helm of
definitely.
it.
We love Camisa. I'll definitely give
Yeah,
my support.
that was the name, by the way, in the stories. Living in the stories, we're going to be doing, Nick and I both, more content on the Instagram stories as the account that has kind of really made all of this kind of flourish. But Camisa was the number one name. I have no doubts we'll get Camisa on the podcast to do an episode, so that'll be fun.
Yep.
That's all I got for you, man. Anything as we go into December for the listeners?
Go Bucks. I mean, we got the Big Ten championship tomorrow.
Oh, God. Okay, go Bucks, I guess.
Yeah.
See you guys next
See you
week.
guys.